this is Daniela and back at it again with another video in connection with transportation management. But before anything else, let's do a recap. So the 5 key types of transportation includes road transport, water transport, rail transport, pipeline transport, and air transport. But this video will especially highlight the road transport, particularly motor carriers, under Chapter 5 of the book Transportation, a Global Supply Chain Perspective. Motor carriers have developed rapidly during the 20th century and now represent one of the most important modes of transportation for freight movement in 21st century. Numerous business and most individuals depend in whole or in part upon motor carriers for the movement of goods. And question is, why do you think it plays a major role in the development of the motor carrier industry? Well, simply because of the pervasive level of accessibility provided by the comprehensive highway systems. Well, as you can see, here is the structure of the motor carrier industry today. So the first major division of motor carrier is between for-hire and private carriers. So the for-hire carriers provide services to the public and of course charges a fee for the services. And I think it's really easy for us to identify for-hire carrier because especially when we go to highway, we could commonly see trucks that labeled as for hire, right? And on the other hand, the private carriers provide services to the industry or company that owns or leases the vehicles and does not charge a fee. Take note, it does not charge a fee, but obviously the service provider incurs the cost. And also, the private carrier is a very important part of the motor carrier industry and viable option to large or even small companies requiring special services such as grocery or food deliveries. And for hire carriers, it can be classified in a number of useful ways, including local versus intercity, common versus contract, regulated versus exempt, general versus specialized, and of course, TL versus LTL. Another important distinction is between the truckload or the TL and less than truckload or the LTL carriers. Now, what is the difference between TL and the LTL? So TL, as a shipper, you rent out the whole truck, whether you use it or not, and the truck goes from your origin to your destination directly. So the truckload carriers provide service to the shippers who tender sufficient, take note of that, sufficient volume to meet the minimum weights required for the truckload shipment and truckload rate, or who will pay the difference. So another form of carrier is the LTL carriers. So less than truckload, in which you own a share. It's not yours. I mean, the whole area is not yours. You just own a share, just a share. And in which you own a share of the truck for your shipment and you pay by weight. Now, the truck will not necessarily go from the origin of the destination directly. It will go through a network of terminals. So, as you can see, TL, whole, LTL, just is share. Alright? The most important drawbacks: whenever your shipment travel with another freight, there's always a possibility of delay based on the issues ranging from customs clearance or delivery issues affecting the other shipments on the truck. And what are the takeaways? Well, again, LTL stands for less than truckload. It really refers to the shipments of less than 6 pallets. Anything more than this is truckload or TL. And the last point, LTL should be packaged well and should have a copies of bill of lading attached to each piece. When your freight is attached well on a pallet with identifiable paperwork, this will ensure your shipment has the best possible chance of arriving intact and on time, giving higher customer satisfaction. So, the general service characteristics of motor carriers, including accessibility, speed, reliability, frequency and lower loss and damage rates have given motor carriers an advantage over other modes. Now this time, let us identify the different types of vehicles and terminals used in the motor carrier industry. So motor carrier vehicles are either line haul or city vehicles. So line haul vehicles, as you can see in the first picture, they are used to haul freight long distances between cities. So it is also usually a tractor-trailer combination of 3 or more axles. On the other hand, city vehicles are used within a city to provide pickup and delivery service. Now, we also have here special vehicles. Special vehicles, in addition to the line haul and city vehicle classifications. So, the following special vehicles are designed to meet the special shipper needs. Further, the motor carrier industry are also facing current issues. So, as you can see, there are a lot. And that includes safety, substance abuse, technology, undercharge claims, and lastly, the state regulation. So in the United States of America, they also have their Department of Transportation. So the Department of Transportation's Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration has established many rules and regulations governing the specifications of motor carrier vehicles. So these regulations cover such areas as the number of lights on the vehicle, the types of brakes used, tire specification, and the operating parts. Now, here in the Philippines, the agency of LTO and the LTFRB, by virtue of the Department of Transportation, are authorized to issue guidelines pertinent to the operation of land transportation, most especially to private and for-hire motor carriers. Okay, I think that's basically it for Chapter 5. So again, Chapter 5 primarily highlighted the motor carriers under the most accessible land transportation. So I hope you have understood the topic. This has been Daniela, and thank you so much for actively listening. And God bless us all.